me, it was 100% wrong the way that I did it. Gracefully, I was able to continue and have an opportunity, and my coordinators believed in me. And then one day it just clicked. So a few things I just want to touch on regarding communication with players, coaches, and partners. And if you have any questions, by all means, raise your hands. First thing, communication doesn't start within the 94 by 50. Communication starts long before the game starts. Depending on what level you work, are you communicating with your crew? Do you need to contact your crew chief? If you're a crew chief, make sure that you contact, your U1 and your U2. Communicating with the venue. Are we gonna have a change of time? Is this, just doing the necessary check marks, because the last thing you want is you miscommunication. Well, the game got moved from 7 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Well, I didn't know. Well, if you check your arbiter, if you check the email, you communicate that with everybody will be on the same page. Those of you that work at the community college level, even at the high school level, and even higher, what route are you taking to the game? Who's driving? Are we gonna ride together? If not, so be it. But at the same time, everybody knows, what airport are you flying into? When you get to that level, I'm sure everybody here will get to that level at some point. Are you going into a coat terminal? You guys are like, what are you talking about? So, these are all things that who's picking up the rental car? These are all things that, that you need to communicate with your partners. What time are we arriving at the venue? What time is our coordinator wants us to get to the venue? All right. So those are just the basic preliminary when we talk about communicating with partners. Communication with coaches and players also starts before the game too. And you're like, how does that happen? We're in 2022. Most teams, even at the high school level, have websites where they post rosters. Before every game, look at the roster. Before every game that I officiated, I always look at the roster to see if I can have a link between players on the team and or coaches. At the college level, coaches have journeys because that is their job, to look and see. I might even research, where was this coach before? Oh, this coach is from where I'm from. So now I have something in my pocket where if the coach want to go AWOL, I can bring him back in off of knowledge that I know. It might even be something of knowing his spouse's name or knowing, her spouse's name. But these are all things that I'm, as they are as coaches, and they will do research on you as well. I'm getting the research on them, because that way, for communication purposes, it'll be better in the long run. Anybody ever thought about that? Anybody ever thought about that by chance? Got a question?
No, I was just gonna say it's almost identical like scouting.
Just like scouting.
It's the exact same thing. You're scouting your opponent, or you're scouting like the people that you're gonna be with.
Absolutely. And I can tell you exactly, if a collegiate coach saw me on the schedule, what they would be telling their players. If it's the home team, they're gonna say, don't expect any calls. I'm gonna be honest. That's the way I was trained. My benefit of the doubt goes to the away team. Because the home team has fans, they slept in their own beds. They don't need any help from the field. They got a pet band, they got a student section. But they need me for it. The away team says go to the basket all the time because they're gonna call fouls. If I look up and I see the home team has 7 fouls and the visiting team has 1 foul, I'm a happy guy. Because now it's like the stigmatism of home treatment or the home team, that's all out of the window. So, little tidbit. Communication with, so I'm gonna transition now to, all right, we get to the game, in your pregame. Not just rules, not just, okay, these are, all right. Talk about, take it a step further. Talk about matchups. If you got Garfield versus Rainier Beach, find the crew who worked the first game. Were they in situation? Who hates who? All right, who tweeted and who posted on Instagram about we're gonna get you this? These are all things that you can bring into your pregame. All right, last time there was a scuffle between 15 and 4, just to make sure this is the matchup we need to watch. If anybody goes to the ground, we need to know how they got there. not just X's and O's, not just rules. Now we're thinking outside the box. Try to pick up, and I always implement this in my crews prior to the game. Pick up plays, all right? If I know they going 4 down, that might be a reverse for a post to come from one block to the other. So instead of me rotating with a purpose, I might remain because I know the play, they're coming right back here. And understand who the plays I ran for, because we want to be in the proper position to make the proper call. Proper position leads to proper calls. All right, any questions? Communication with coaches. Now, you understand that from the moment you step on the floor, actually from the moment the coach sees your name that they're refereeing, they are looking at you from head to toe. They're looking at you when you come out on the floor. Are you engaged? Are you lackadaisical? At the higher level, they can actually see where you worked to see if you, hey, did you work 10 days in a row? Did you work 9 days in a row? They might have something that's, are they going to be tired? So you have to alleviate all of that from the beginning. Come out, be professional, stand in your designated spot, and be ready to go at the jump. Okay? Now, what made the switch for me in understanding how to communicate with coaches was that, and I never thought about this until it was told to me by Ed Rush. And we were sitting and he said, you should be the best communicator by God. I mean, you shouldn't have any issues with communication. And I looked at him, I said, why do you say that? And he says, because of what you do for a living. I work for Alaska Airlines. I deal with angry customers. I deal with all the time. And I always get complimented on how I can diffuse situations. So now I had to transition and put that into my officiating career. And how I did that, I knew my rules. Your knowledge of the rules becomes your language to the coaches. If you know your rules, you can explain to the coach what you call. And all you do is repeat verbatim what's in the rule. You have a block call, let's say. And the coach says, why was that a block? Because the defender was not in legal guarding position. Well, what's legal guarding position? 2 feet 2 feet on the floor facing your opponent. Okay, thanks. What did I do? I just repeated the rules for him. So the more you get into the rule book becomes your language to coaches. And with that, you have to get one-liners. All right? And it comes with trial and error, because you could say something that sends a coach to the roof. It has happened with me on numerous occasions. And then you also have to know the coach as well. Ignore comments, answer legitimate questions. Ignore comments, answer legitimate questions. That is how you communicate. And if a coach asks you, well, you didn't respond. Well, coach, you didn't ask a question. I was just letting you think. That question?
To what extent do you ignore those comments? Is that personal or crew mentality to get on the same page? How many times are we going to let this coach just say statement after statement after statement before we address it?
Easy. So I'm glad you asked that, because that was going to be my next point.
I think we need the hangman name.
If a coach is just, if they're being respectful when they commenting, right? By all means, I might look and say, hey, I hear you, man. Now if they talking about my mama, my daddy, my kids, I'm gonna say, okay.
That's one.
All right. And I believe in my career, the implementation of the warning helped me, because now I can go to you and say, hey, coach, this is your warning. And then sometimes I get creative. I say, coach, come here. Is there anything else you got to say? He'll say, what do you mean? I said, because at the end of this, you're going to get a warning. So I just want to make sure you get everything out right now before I go over to the table and let everybody know that you've been officially warned. So have the floor. I want you to say your piece, your final remarks. They'll say what they got to say. Okay,
Respectfully.
you've been warned. And then notify your partners which is another cue thing, notifying your partners, letting them know that, hey, this coach has no more.
Don't keep a secret.
No.
So, question.
Yes.
I kind of piggyback on that, how much do you think, and this happened to me yesterday, he phrased his statement into a question. Well, why is that not a foul? And I'm like, well, because it's not, I didn't see it that way, and I just told him, I said, Coach, we're looking at it differently, and I got this. And then I just took off, because he just wanted to chirp, but all he was doing was bitching about the no call.
Why was that not a foul? Because there was no illegal contact. Why is it not a foul? If you wanna, I would recommend you say this, but because I didn't blow my whistle.
Honestly, that's what I said. And then I got nervous that I overstepped, I go, that's why I didn't blow.
I'm gonna give you a story. I remember the first time I refereed Bob Huggins. And Bob Huggy Bear is probably swears probably the most out of any coach I've ever known. So what did I do? I went to my resources and I asked other officials. I'm like, all right, this is the first, big time coach that I have. How do I communicate with him? Because he's already looking at me crazy. And the advice that I was given was that, hey, the way that you and I are talking right now, Hugs don't understand that language. You gotta throw some F-bombs, some cuss words in there. He understands that. So I said, okay.
Of course.
Had a foul. We go into a media timeout. He comes at me. He said, my guy got fucking fouls and da-da-da-da-da. You missed it on our fucking rookie. And my reply was that that's the fucking way that you saw it, that I fucking missed it. I said, I like this guy. Use your resources, all right? Utilize your resources. Now, I am a firm believer that there is no such thing as communicating too much, all right? Every time that the ball is inbounded, you need eye contact with your partners. Every time you have a change of possession, you need eye contact with your partners. Every time you rotate in different positions, you need to have eye contact with your partners. Why? Number one, for the crew. Number two, I also look to see where you're officiating, because I know if you're looking there, I know where I need to go. All right, so communication. Everybody get that? Who's got some tough one-liners? Who's got some good one-liners? Anybody have good one-liners? Don't have any? What you got?
When somebody asks, like, why wasn't that a call? And the coach has been at me the whole time, I just say, because I didn't make it a call. I didn't blow my whistle.
Don't be
I say that all the time.
don't be too confrontational. I would say I was a coach. I didn't see that, coach. No, from my angle, no illegal contact. And then they might say, well, the guy got hit. Well, you know what? If it happened the way that you said, you're right, it was a foul. I just didn't see it that way. All right? It shows humbleness, and it also shows that you are listening to what they're saying. Because all coaches want you to do is listen, right? Another thing with coaches, real quick before I go back to partners, if I know I missed a call, very important. If I know I missed a call, if I know I got a call right, but if I know that there's controversy and the coach is gonna be on my tail, or how many times the coach calls a timeout just because they want to talk to you. Don't go away from the coach. Go to the coach. All right? If I know I had a call and that coach didn't like it, they called timeout, I'm going to meet the coach there because I already know they call a timeout because they want to talk to me. And I'm going to come and I'm going to walk them right back to their bench, hear what they have to say. Number one, it shows that I'm listening to them. I'm going to let him or her vent and then say whatever it is that I want. I can say, hey, I missed it, or hey, I hear you, tough play. Let's go to the next one. But don't just stand there, because if you stand there, now you got a coach yelling at you from across the floor. If you got to walk 94 feet, go walk 94 feet. Meet that coach, because they're yelling at you, like, all this going, and you're shying away. I do, unless, like at the end of the game, if I've talked to a coach all day and they still want to play, I get them the booty. I just go like this, and they're over there, I just turn this way. And I talk to my partner, and they say, why are you turning? Because I done talked to this person. I'm trying to say this technical foul. I'm not trying to have whoever the crew chief is write War and Peace on the game report. We chilling. But go to the coach.
Another
Yes.
question, more to the crew. So you're the center, I was the center yesterday, and the coach is literally right in my ear, and he's ragging on my partners. And he's like, why is that not a foul? And I said, I'm not looking there. And then I decide, because I'm working on communicating with the coach, and I said, and you don't want me to look there. And he goes, yeah, you're right.
What's your name?
Chris.
So you the coach, and you tell me the same thing, but the coach is, you tell me the coach is, you the coach.
It's a foul, he's all over it down there.
His name is Chris, he deserves to be on this game, I guarantee you he would be in front of you shortly. That's it. Cause I can't explain somebody else's call, right? But I will back you and say, hey, you know what? He deserves to be here. He's here for a reason. You get the games that you're on because the coordinators trust you on those games. So you deserve to be there. All right? Yes.
So going off what you were talking about with having a rapport, kind of a rapport with coaches, I was doing this one game, former collegiate, was in the NBA for a little bit, coaching his son. He was just chirping. Finally there was a whistle or something. I looked over and I was like, you know what? All those years I watched you, now I know what you were saying to the officials on the floor. He was like, I like you. Just kept on going. Didn't hear anything else after that, you know.
And that's a good point. A lot of things can be diffused just by a simple conversation. Just by a simple.
It went in a box.
I mentioned yesterday, I forgot who I was talking to, but on the member, when you're on your crew, find the one thing that you can excel at, whether if it's clocks, whether if it's rules, game management. Find something that makes you you and your identity. My thing was always, it was never rules to start because I was a play caller, but I was like, if I want to move up, I need to know my rules, so I got heavy into the rule book. But for me, it was always clocks. I can tell you when the possession starts, how much is on the game clock and shot clock. Every time every time a team has possession, every time the ball goes in the basket, and I don't even need to go to a monitor and or look. It's just second nature, just like me brushing my teeth in the morning. Just looking, okay, look, they got a half court at this time, look, clocks are okay, new possession, look, boom, new possession, look. It just comes day to day. So find something that you can bring to the crew. There's a gentleman on the East Coast, average referee, but when he refereed, we knew that we weren't missing any rules, because he knew the rule book from beginning to the end. And we always wanted him on the crew for that purpose. Right? I saw my hand up.
I was gonna say with the statements that come at me during a dead ball situation, 'cause I'm not missing statements during a live ball situation or even like during questions, I'm like, coach, we should next one kind of thing, but if they're coming at me with a statement, I like to redirect with empathy and then redirect to a question that you know they have to say yes. So like if they're saying about my partners, about how's that not or whatever, I was like, coach, I would never want to explain my partner's calls, nor would I want them explaining mine. I'll let them know we want to speak with them, that kind of thing. I don't want to say he's gonna get you at the next one, kind of thing, because that forces the partner to, put him in the hot seat, kind of thing. Or, if they're saying things about my partner, he's just bad, like, you gotta help him out. And I'm like, coach, I would never speak to one of your associates, or your assistants that way. Please don't speak to about my partner that way. Is that fair? And then by saying, is that fair, you're forcing him to have to say yes, like, because everyone knows the answer to that question. So,
I would just say keep your statements really simple, right? If someone like, oh, you guys are really bad tonight, really? I didn't know that you went from coaching, from not coaching straight to the level you are. I'm sorry, we can't be like you. We want to go, you went from off the street straight to junior college. Man, give me some tips.
Like at the high school level, I'm a huge communicator. I'm a firm believer if you say things out the gate, it'll minimize the interactions later. So when I meet with the coaches, I say a coming to ask me a question. And so when they go into the chirping and all that stuff, I'll say, I respond better to questions than I do comments, like Ivan said. And when you tell them that out the gate, then they approach, I've always been approached differently throughout the rest of the game. I've always been approached with a question versus them not even asking anything, but just like making their little comments.
And really quick, I'm gonna get to you guys' question really quick. Cause I was gonna talk about technical fouls, as well as communication with players really quick. Players are gonna be players, all right? How I view it is, this is crazy, but I'm like, this is my game. You 10 players and you 2 coaches have the luxury to play in my game, all right? Additionally, we don't wanna get into, situations where players and coaches, when they talk under their breath, oh, this referee sucks, and then you like, bang. No. Anytime you call a technical foul, especially number one, communicate, make sure that coach gets a warning. There are some things that are not, that you don't have to warn anybody about. But make sure that it fits the game, and make sure that it can be defended on film. We don't need a technical foul with 30 seconds to go in the tie ball game because the coach whispered, you suck. All right? Because then we are dictating the outcome of the game. But if we administer a technical foul with 30 seconds left to go, when we have a dead ball situation and a player clearly pushed another player, all right, that's a little bit different because number one, it fits the game, and 2, it can be defended. But just make sure, and everybody's level of tolerance is different, all right? My level of tolerance is like, I always said my patience was as big as my paycheck. So if I was on a big D1 game, then I got $1,000 or more worth of patience. If it was a high school game, I only had like $50 worth of patience. So, you had like this much.
I think you made a very good point, and it's something I'll incorporate into my game, my pre-game, about understanding who the coaches are, because I actually had a situation, and because I knew a little bit about the coach, and he was complaining not just about my calling, but my partner's calling, I just told him, I said, Coach, do you want a referee and I'll coach? And he said, no. I said, okay, and then we moved on. So understanding the coach that you're dealing with, it's like you mentioned about the guy that likes to use a lot of profanity. Well, sometimes my level, especially in high school, I have no level for that. It's like zero tolerance, just like drugs, zero tolerance. But in that situation, you got information that told you about that coach. That's the fancy word, modus operandi. So you were able to go back.
I'm sorry.
They don't use those things.
No.
It's better than corporate delect guy.
No, that's a good point. I saw another hand up on this side, yes.
Just to kind of parallel what Tamika was saying too, I had a trainer tell me, something he used in his pregame was, with the coaches and players, if at any time during the game you have a reasonable question, come to us at a reasonable time, we'll give you a reasonable answer.
Yeah.
In addition to that, if the coaches if all they're doing is making statements, coach, what's your question? And those are the 2 things that
Choose your battles.
And you can also say, hey, a coach may say, well, may complain, they may gripe, and say, Coach, I'm not gonna get them all wrong. All right, but I darn sure ain't gonna get them all wrong either. Right? So, it's ways, and again, like I said, it comes with trial and error. I can tell you numerous stories where I tried something out and it did not go well. It did not go well at all. And then the worst one. No, that's a funny one. I got a funny one. I'm trying to see. It's a funny. It's been so many. I got a funny one. So I had Leonard Hamilton at Florida State. I had him first game. A funny story behind it. Leonard Hamilton was great friends with my college coach, and the day that I signed in in my living room, Leonard Hamilton was on the phone, and I was talking to him. So we always had a mutual friend in my head coach. So we're working, and that was another thing, because of his relationship with my coach, I put that in my back pocket. I'm like, hey, I'm V's guy, Coach V. He's like, oh yeah, I remember. So now we get that. So we're at a game. He's getting killed, and they make a run back. It's clear that they're gonna use the game. So his assistants was asking about a couple of calls, and then I said, no, I didn't miss that call. And then he says, oh yeah, you did. Just like you missed the one at 8:13. You missed one at 9:15. You missed one at, and he's talking really calm, and I'm getting mad. I'm like, this dude he categorizing my play. So I said, hold that thought, Leonard. Technical foul. I just said, so he looked. He said, for what? I said, because you're a fucking historian. I said, this is a basketball game. It's not AP history. We'll talk about my play. He laughed. I laughed. That was the end of it. Then the big get caught. He actually understands. It's one of the things that I want to say in regards to technical fouls. It was just, it'll come back to me. I guarantee you. It'll come back to me. But, any other questions? What you got?
What you got for a rhetorical question?
Meaning?
So coach just keep asking the same rhetorical question, knowing that you don't have an answer for it. Because I always tell them, like you said.
Give me an example. So you're the coach.
Legitimate question. So I always tell them, ask me a real question. And this is a real question.
So like, give me an example. You're the coach, and you come in.
When I was a coach, I didn't have to answer questions. So I'm not gonna know everything.
If you give me, if we do a little role play, then if it comes to your mind, just let me know.
Okay.
All right.
You mean like when you're saying a general question?
Or like just being a jerk.
No, they're being an asshole, and they're asking a rhetorical question, like, they know the answer to that question, they want you to give them their answer for that question. It's just like, you have a real question that you want me to.
Oh, so now I would make a statement, I say, coach, I'm not answering any question. I'm saying, I'll answer questions, a legitimate question about a rule. Anything of that, just go in one end out there.
Are they allowed to just camp out in the key for 5 seconds?
Why are you so bad?
Or coach, why are you so bad?
Yeah, you know how coaches have gotten to the point.
Because I didn't
They
want to go on the right
understand
side of the bed.
Because we all come out there and say, yeah, hey, you got a question? I respond to questions. So now a lot of them have gotten to the point where I'm asking a question all the time, but I'm really making a comment.
Who's been on a game where a coach is like, that's 3 seconds, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, God.
If the coach goes, so here's a good one. The coach, 3, 4, 5. How come you ain't calling 3 seconds? Because when you start counting and doing my job, I go back to 0.
Yeah.
Now.
I'm gonna use that one.
And do you want me to call your plays? So that is another, coach, I can start calling your plays. You don't want me to call your plays, do you? And then that has gone one way and another way. Coach like, no, one coach will back up, another one's like, yeah, call 4 down when you run up the floor.
Hey, I just wanted to, technical file, so we started there, something that's always worked for myself, and I've always talked in the pregame, is there any certain time when we need to seatbelt the coach? Does the book say there's any certain time that we have to do that?
We do what?
Seatbelt.
Seatbelt. When do we seatbelt them?
Let me get to that.
Okay, so, think about this. Technical fouls are very emotional calls, right? I've seen officials break their fingers, haven't we? Because they get, shit hurts, right? That coach is earning that tee for some reason. For me, it works not to run over there, have your partner run over, coach, you have a seatbelt. Why not let that coach vent? Let them earn that second tee from somebody else. After that first shot goes in, then go over, because now we've given them, her or them, that extra 10 seconds to get whatever they wanted to get out, right? Because we seatbelt them right away. They're not done talking to you or talking to somebody, and now they're popping off from their seat. But now we've given them that extra 10 seconds, so when that second shot goes or not, coach, now you got the seatbelt. That's always worked well.
To your coach, go away. To your player, go to the coach and tell them what they did.
Yep.
This is really for Stacy. But as a woman,